Good evening, everybody. We're going to do a quick song, about 1 minute long, called the Meditation Blues, while we wait for a few more people to get in here. All right. How's everybody doing? I had the guitar laying around. Let me see if I can get this camera going. There it is. Had the guitar laying around. I figured I'd do a little song for you there. But yeah, thanks for showing up. For people that haven't been here before, we do this every Monday, or try to do it almost every Monday that I can. And we just spend a little time up front talking about meditation. And then at the end of this, we do group meditations. So thanks for everybody showing up. There's, as people know that have been here before, there's no cover charge. You just gotta say where you're from in the comments. That's all you gotta do. You can like it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you could do that as well too. Sorry, I'm running a little late here. I'm out of breath. But all right, got Nico's here. He's been here a bunch. And Viticus. Got Toronto on the line. North Idaho. I think we spoke earlier through Facebook or Instagram. Got Sheila here. I met Sheila at a Dr. Joe event in Cartagena, Colombia. So I messaged her earlier, said she's got to come join us. So she just became, I think you said it was an NCS member or something like that, director for Dr. Joe Dispenza or something like that. Anyway, congratulations on your new adventure there. Julie's from New Jersey showing up. So anyway, all right, let me get over here. Like I said, I'm not professional now. Nobody's paying me. So give me just a second to get all this together. I got to get my notes up here. So a couple of things I did put in the comments below. I shared this maybe a couple of months ago, but I listened to this video again yesterday, and it was so good that I felt like I had to share it. Some people know that I am a musician. I play music. I've played my whole life, and my whole family, we're not that social, but we express ourselves through music, and that's what I do. And I think most of my family members would probably agree. They've never said it, but I think that's probably why we play music. That's how we kind of express ourselves. But this video is of a piano player named Keith Jarrett. He's a jazz pianist that I think he's from New Jersey, but he's older now. But I was watching an interview with him, and he talks about how he has connected with the music or with the other side for a long time. And when he gets up and performs, he never rehearses, he never practices, he never knows what he's going to play. He leaves it up to the universe. And so what he does when he goes out to a concert, he just sits up there and he says, I just connect and have the music come through him. And he says, I know, he says he's learning what's happening as it's happening. So if it's some kind of amazing performance, this guy that was interviewing him said, man, that was an amazing performance you gave it over in Toronto or wherever it was. And he said, yeah, no, I thought so too. And he said, I know that sounds cocky, but it was like an out-of-body experience. I was just watching it. And so he talks about how the music just comes through him, and he just opens himself up to be able to have the music come through him. So I put that in the link below. And he does a song, it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it's just kind of his own version that was happening in the moment. He was in the present moment. Sure, he was playing a song, but he was interpreting it in his way. He was playing a song that was familiar to people that you'll recognize, but he was interpreting it in his own way that was happening in the moment. And as he was soloing, he also takes a solo in the middle that, like I said, you can hear it in his playing. You can see it when he performs. He opens himself up and just lets the music play through him. So I really connected with this performance, and I've been in that space before when playing music, so I can relate to him. And so I just wanted to share that again, but it's in the comments below, or in the description below. It's Keith Jarrett is his name. You should probably go listen to almost everything he does, because anything he does is amazing, but this is a great one. So but that's that. Also, I've got a link down there. People that show up the past couple of weeks, I don't sell these things, but I do have a link to these different masks. I've got this one. This is my old trusty right here that I've been using for about a year. It's in pretty good shape. And then I've got this new one here that I like too. These are Manta masks. And I've got a link down there. I make like a couple dollars to get a cup of coffee. You don't have to go buy it. I don't really care if you do. But a lot of people have asked me, what kind of mask do I use? And me personally, these really are my favorite masks for sleeping and just for meditation. They're comfortable. You can open your eyes. Not really running a commercial. I just wanted to share with you. This one is a little bit cheaper, but it's lasted me for a year. And I will say this one's a little more expensive, but it's probably a little more comfortable. So if you want to be a professional meditator, this is the one to get. If you just want to be a part-timer, just get this one here. So anyway, that's enough with the business. But again, thank you everybody for showing up. I've got a poll going of what meditation we're going to do later on. I actually can't see it right now because, like I told you, I'm not professional. But I'm going to pull it up right now. I forgot what I put in the poll, but give me just a second here, and we'll be able to follow along. I swear I need an assistant. All right, hold on. Just give me a second here. All right, so we got body parts, synchronize your energy to a new life. You are the placebo in the generous present moment. Now, if you don't know what any of these are, it's okay. Just pick one that you think sounds good, and we're all just kind of having fun just playing around with this. So any meditation is a good meditation. There's not one that's better than the others. I mean, I don't know. I think people prefer some meditations over others, but as long as you're meditating, you're doing all right, in my opinion. So now, if anybody has any, yeah, thanks, Sheila. I do need an assistant. It's hard. There's all these buttons and cables and things, lights and cameras, action happening over here. But something that I was going to share with you guys was something about, I've been having like a lot of synchronicities lately, and I've been trying to even think about like, what do these synchronicities even mean, and I'm not going to, I don't feel like I ever come from a place like I have the final answer. I know what I'm talking about. I just kind of share my experiences and what I've learned on my journey that I've been on. So I don't claim to have the answers. And if anybody has a different perspective, I would be open to, hey, you guys please share in what you think. But I have all these synchronicities, and synchronicities to me are kind of like, for somebody that maybe doesn't know what that means, I would equate it to that it would be kind of like, if you're talking on the phone and somebody, or if you're talking to a friend and you mention somebody's name, and then all of a sudden they call you like, 30 seconds later, and you say, oh man, your ears must have been burning. We were just talking about you. That's kind of like a synchronicity, except it's kind of like your ears have been burning on steroids. So it can ramp up from there a lot. And so I've had a lot of synchronicities, and I've been trying to figure out what they mean and what do they have to do with anything. I mean, they're interesting and they're kind of fun, but I could share a couple of them with you that happened with me if you're interested. Well, even if you're not, I'm just going to share them with you anyway. But I was talking with a friend on the phone the other day, and I was here at my house, and I live in this neighborhood, and it's a nice neighborhood, but I live on a lake. But a friend of mine was talking about this car. It was a McLaren. And I'm not a big car aficionado, but I know what a McLaren is. I know what it looks like. So my friend was just talking about different types of cars and mentioned this McLaren that he saw. And he lives out like in Texas. He's like a long way away. So he saw this McLaren, and I walked up from the steps from my house, and just 5 to 10 seconds afterwards, there's a McLaren that drives by my house. And like the nicest car in this neighborhood is like a Lexus or something, or like a Toyota Highlander. There's not a lot of fancy cars within a 100-mile radius of this town. I mean, I was blown away to see it, first of all, but much less, my friend was just mentioning it just 10 seconds earlier. And so those are the kind of synchronicities that happen. I have a lot that have to do with the phone a lot of times. I do have, I had a friend of mine call me from Charleston and say that, she's a piano teacher, and she teaches at like a really fancy hotel. It's like a Four Seasons down there or something. and she was looking for a raise, and she was complaining to me like, they haven't called me yet. They haven't called me, and I've been asking for a raise for like a year now, and they haven't responded back to me, and I'm just frustrated. I was like, well, you'll probably hear from them. And I hung up the phone, and literally, like, she calls me back about 5 minutes later, and she goes, "You're not going to believe this. As soon as we got done talking about that, like, I hung up the phone with you, and they called me and said, 'Hey, listen, we got you. We're going to give you that raise you were talking about.'" To make a long story short, and I'm not trying to insinuate that I had something to do with this, but I think it was the two of us together that had something to do with it. Same thing happened with my dad. He'd been working on his will, and I'd called him up and said, "Dad, what's going on with that will? You've been working on it. We were talking about it. I haven't heard anything about it." And he said, I was working on it like 3 months ago, and I talked to the attorney, and the attorney hasn't called me back in 3 months. I haven't just had a chance to call him. I don't know. I guess he just forgot about me or something. I don't know. We hang up the phone, and literally, like, 5 minutes later, my dad calls back, and he goes, "You're not going to believe this. As soon as we hung up the phone, the attorney called me and said, 'Hey, listen, we got your will all done. It's over here,' And so it's just kind of bizarre to have those things happen. But I've got one more to share with you that I thought was real interesting. It happened this weekend. And let me see. Let me switch over to this here. And maybe you can be my assistant, Sheila. But so I was playing music. Like I told you earlier, I play music. And I was in Brevard, North Carolina. I live in Landrum, South Carolina. Not that has anything to do with the story, but that's where I live. And but I was playing music in Brevard, North Carolina, which is just kind of outside Asheville, North Carolina, if you know where that is. So, but 2 weeks ago, I was playing in Key West, Florida, at a place called the Green Parrot. And so I was playing music there with a group from New Orleans, and we played all weekend. And so there was a lot of people there, and it's kind of a popular bar within Key West. It's kind of like the locals bar. But anyway, we were playing there, and so I did that. I came home, and I go to Brevard, and as I'm setting up playing, this guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, man, hey, weren't you playing at the Green Parrot a couple weeks ago?" And I turned around, and it was this guy, Dane, that I met. Dane is his name, and he just happened to be in the area. He didn't know I was playing there. He just showed up to the gig. Showed up to the brewery that I was playing at and just recognized me from the gig. And I'd met him before because I played down there several times a year. And then as we're sitting there talking, there's a guy that walks by, and he's got a hat on that says the Green Parrot on there. And we're in Brevard, North Carolina. We're like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 miles from Key West, or maybe further. And this, like I said, this is just some kind of locals bar down there. This guy's got a Green Parrot hat on. And so Dane, the guy I was talking to, he's like, "Whoa, man, look, this guy's got a Green Parrot hat on." I turned around. I was like, "Yeah, you got to be kidding me. This is crazy." So I stopped everybody. I said, "Dude, we got to do a picture, man." So I'm going to see if I can share this with you. But this is the picture here. Of course, that's me in the middle, but that's Dane on the left, and that's the random guy that just showed up with the GP, the hat on there. He's got the Green Parrot on there. So, but that happened this past weekend, and I think made me start thinking, like, what do these synchronicities really mean? What do they do for you? They're really interesting, and they're kind of bizarre, and they're kind of crazy, and they can be sometimes. And I tell you that some of the craziest synchronicities are ones that are very, very small, that like you really can't tell anybody else. It's just like your own thing that you just go, "I can't believe that just happened." But I've been thinking a lot of like, what does the synchronicities mean for you? And maybe you guys could chime in and tell me what you think. But I think that they're really there just to be able to show you that you're on the right track, that you are open, you are opening to the universe. You're able to get out of the way of yourself. And so, even though meeting this guy in Key West and meeting the guy with the hat on doesn't really change my life, but it just shows me that I'm on the right track. I am kind of walking and living in a space of being open. And I do think that all of these things are there a lot of the times, but because of people that don't meditate, or if you don't meditate, you can't see it. But meditation will open you up to where it gets all the clutter out of the way, to where you can recognize what's going on around you and be aware of it. And I kind of think it's more like that than just, I think it's always there. It's always been there. It's just meditation will help gets all the clutter out of the way. And so That's kind of my Mac McLeod showed up. Mac McLeod was actually at my gig. He was playing guitar with me in Brevard this past weekend. I don't know if you heard the story I just told, Mac. I didn't tell you there because I thought you might freak out. It's a little too intense of a story, but if you didn't hear the story, you got to go back and listen to it when we're done. But Mac McLeod was just playing. There's another synchronicity. He was playing guitar with me in Brevard. I don't think he knew I had this channel going. So the plot thickens there. But anyway, so that's what that's my take on synchronicities and why they happen. That's what I've kind of learned and discovered from my experience of meditation so far. Again, you guys could kind of chime in and tell me what you think. Let's see here. Where are we at? It's 7:49. Does anybody have any questions? The universe is listening. It's a little confirmation. That's awesome. Mac McLeod. Yep, it's the meditation from your meditation work. That's right, Jen. Another all right, Indiana. Be able to make the meditation, but all right, so Wilson won't be able to make the meditation. All right, let's check in on the poll up here, what we got going on here. We got so we got 4 meditations we're picking from. It looks like Synchronize Your Energy to a New Life is in the lead right now. It's got 14 votes going, but you know, it's not over yet. We still got a few more minutes for people to, if you haven't voted, right now is a good time to do it. And you can also like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, all right, let's see here. All right, Jen said she bought a Manta mask. She said it was awesome. She recommends it. Cool. Again, I don't make a lot of money doing that. I'm just sharing with you guys what I really do think it is a good mask if you want to be a professional meditator. So, all right, so let's see here. All right, well, I think that's, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Do you or anyone else get synchronicities from music, like the divine is sending you music, lyrics right after you think of something? Let me put this up here. So, I'm sorry, I guess it's Miss Amy. It says, do you or anyone else get synchronicities from music, like the divine is sending you music, lyrics right after you think something? Yes. I've had, yes, I have. I've had synchronicities within music. I've had things come to me. I've had, you know, when I'm playing, let's see, I'm trying to understand your question a little more. Yes, I've definitely had, to be more specific to what you're saying is, I have had, there was a song that I was writing the other day that I was thinking about, that some lyrics were coming to me very easily. But I think that just meditation in general will open you up to where, if you watch that video of that guy, Keith Jarrett, that I have in the description below, that's what he does. He doesn't practice piano. He doesn't do anything except he says, I open myself up and I just let it transcend the music through me. And so when you meditate, it is very well, like, you know, it's easier to come up with lyrics because they just come to you. They just show up. And speaking of which, I did make a video about this a little while back, and I'm going to try to share with you. I'm going to share with you what came to me here. All right, so there was a video that I made on this. It's called You Are Not Alone. And I was going through a phase where I think everybody kind of feels like they're alone from time to time, whether it's for 30 seconds or 5 minutes or an hour or a week or a year, or everyone has feelings of that, feeling alone every once in a while. And so I had a little time in my life where I kind of felt like that. And then I got over it. I spent like a day feeling like that. And then a couple days later, I was meditating, and I had this just literally come to me. It was just the whole thing. I didn't make it up. It just came to me. So I'm kind of answering your question in the long version. But this is from my own past experience. So Are they lyrics? They could be. Is it a poem? I probably equate it more to a poem, but I'll read it to you. I'll shut up and read it to you. But it's called We Are Not Alone. And so it goes, if you had children, would you love them? The answer would be yes. If those kids had children, would you love them? The answer would be yes. What if those kids had children, then those kids had children, those kids had children, would you love them as well? The answer is always yes, or at least it should be. When you feel all alone and no one to look to when things get crazy, just remember that there are faces you will never know, there are faces you have never seen and names you will never know that are responsible for why you are standing here today. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are cheering us on and loving us just like the love we seek from our friends and family today. We are on the front lines of what they helped create in this world. They were loving us way before anyone knew our names. They are the reason we are not alone. And to me, that was something that was pretty powerful. And I will say this, as I called my mom when I got done with that. I was like, who can I share this with that doesn't think that I'm crazy? Because I could say anything and my mom doesn't think, she's still going to love me no matter what. So I called up my mom and I read it to her and she's like, oh, that's nice. That's where'd you come up with that? Or where did you read that? And I said, I didn't. It just came to me in a meditation like it happens to everyone else. And, but that's what I agreed with my mom. I was like, I didn't come up with this. It sounds like somebody else. And my mom was even like, that doesn't even sound like you. But it was something that came to me. And it wasn't even something that when I got done with the meditation, like I felt like I had to rush to write it down. It's almost like it got downloaded into my mind. There was no rush. I was like, I know exactly word for word what I need to write down. It was already implanted in me, if that makes sense. Almost, yeah, so that came to me. Things like that have happened before, but that's just one experience that I could share with you. And there is a video that I've got on that if you want to go through there, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But, all right, so Sheila bought 3 of the bougie masks with the Cartagena. All right, so she bought some other masks. Cool. All right, talking about masks. This is a follow-up to what Amy just was asking. I get a lot when writing or running, like I have a thought about something, then the music I'm listening to lyrics almost answer my question, or a new song comes on to address something I'm thinking. Yes, I've definitely had experiences like that as well, too. When you do meditation, anything is possible and anything could possibly happen. And it definitely does, and that's been my experience. And if you're doubting that something could happen, then you probably just need to spend some more time meditating. All right, so Jen, I'm going to share up here what Jen says. I had a dream once where I got the lyrics to a song in its entirety. That only happened once, but it was crazy. All right. Well, that's all it takes is one time to do something, and it can be pretty crazy. So, all right. All right, so where are we at on the poll over here? It looks like we're going to be doing, it's almost 8 o'clock. I try to keep it just at 30 minutes and then start doing the meditation around 8 my time. So looks like we're going to be doing Synchronize Your Energy to a New Life, which that's kind of the one I was wanting to do today anyway. So it worked out. We're on the same page today. So does anybody have any questions? Right now would be a good time to ask. It's kind of like last call before we head over to the meditation. I'll give you just a second. All right, hold on. Let me get this Zoom call together. And I'll get everybody a link to be able to join us. So join over there. All right.
Recording in progress.
All right, hold on. All right, here we go. I'm going to put, here's the link. So if for anybody that's new, we use Zoom to go over to do the meditation, because we can't do it on YouTube because they'll kind of cut us off. But we just kind of join here and then meet over at Zoom. So here's the Zoom link. Should be putting it up. And I'll make sure you guys can get in. And what we're going to do is let me make sure people are getting in first before we try to move on. All right, Loretta's in. Loretta showed up. All right, cool. So it's 7:58. We're going to get started at.
All right. Loretta's in. Loretta showed
Hold
up.
on.
All right.
I make-
Loretta's in. Loretta showed up. All right. Cool. So it's 7:58. We're going to get started at.
All right. Let me make sure. All right, cool. I had to mute some people. If you could help me out by muting yourself when you come in. So, all right, again, it's 7:59, or just let's say 8:05. We're going to get started on the meditation. So if anybody needs to use the restroom or do whatever they got to do, then we'll get started in 5 minutes. And I'm going to leave the live stream going up for a few minutes so people can still find that link. Then we'll get started in 5 minutes. And I'm going to leave the live stream going up for a few minutes so people can still find that link. Then we'll get started in 5 minutes. All right. So 5 minutes. We'll get started. All right. All right, I'm going to shut the live stream down.